I'm on. I'm rolling. I'm recording. Come on. I'll put my producer hat on and I'll say, turn it off and on again. I've jumped the gun. I've gone early. Got excited. As my ex-girlfriend would call me, premature.
Oh,
We're
Dos,
recording.
I'm here, mate.
You're
Thanks
on.
for holding it down
Welcome.
for me all that time.
Nice, mate. I held down the fort pretty well. Put my
Pretty good.
host cap on.
You
and,
did. You definitely
I won't be taking
auditioned
it
for
off.
like what it would sound like if you were just a solo operator. Definitely looking towards making that move after last week's abysmal showing with the air conditioner in the background for me. So I'm definitely feeling the heat this time around.
There's an opportunity there if I want it. So certainly going to be having a crack. This would be my audition, and we'll see how we go.
Dos, speaking of having a crack, and I cannot believe how easily this one has come up. A crack, we're talking tectonic plates. We're talking earthquakes. Dos, what's been happening in bloody Melbourne this week?
Mate, what hasn't been happening? The whole bloody place is shaking apart. It was pretty insane, actually. I was just sitting there. And I was like, the house started shaking. And I was like, all right, I'm on the 4th floor. This could be interesting.
I've heard of your apartment buildings. I've heard that they're full of structural sort of, inequities. So I would presume that was your first thought like, oh crap, this thing is just not built right. It's about to go down.
Oh yeah. I was like, do I go on the balcony? And then if the balcony collapses, could you like surf the balcony down the rubble? Like, is there an opportunity? I don't know. I was, you have a few thoughts that go through your head, and that was one of them. I'm glad I didn't tell anyone that until now.
Don't worry, and no one still heard it. That's the beauty of it.
That's the beauty of this podcast. You can say whatever you want, and no one's going to hear about it.
But then what happened? What was it like?
Well, and then it was just kind of like panic. Like first thing, we're like, we'll just go get a coffee, just kind of like talk about it, me and my roommate.
Is that a panicked response? Oh, this is getting a bit hairy. Let's go get a coffee.
Not from
It's
us.
just so Melbourne, dude.
Well, you're like, I can't make an important decision until I've had a coffee. So I'm like, do I go to the emergency area?
Oh my God,
do I go to the bath? And I was like, I don't know, too many decisions. I need to go get a coffee, and then I'll make a decision. So yeah, I will admit how they do the leaves and stuff in the coffees. I think it was a bit shaken up because the guy.
They
the
don't.
guy
Oh
was
yeah.
shaking.
The coffee art. Sorry, yes, I do know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
We do have that out here.
You have coffee out there?
Yeah, last week that was
out there
it
to
was
coffee.
great. No, there's so much drought that it's just like they sprinkle the cocoa on top or whatever it is. It just looks like dirt because that's all we've got.
No, that's just because you fucking only have hot chocolates. You child.
So overall, your experience in this earthquake, what's it like? Was it a galvanizing moment for Victoria during its current trying time?
I'm pretty sure people were protesting before it, during it, and after it. So you could say we're consistent. Doesn't matter what the world throws at us, we'll still be consistent. And even if it is protesting fucking health orders and being pieces of shits.
Well, Dos, another thing that I heard as a result of that was that there was no tsunami risk to Australia, which is great. Super exciting stuff. Although I could have used a little bit of swell power while I was out racing ducks, which is what I've been up to this week. Racing ducks, actually riding ducks. And you might be wondering, I've heard of racing horses. I've heard of even racing camels. How are people racing ducks? Well, giant inflatable ducks, big yellow rubber duckies, one person on one side with an oar, one person with another. And the ducks are so big that you have to pretty much lean so that 90% of your body is hanging out over the side of the duck. I joined the race at the last minute. There was a Calcutta. You basically had to bid to get in the race.
Classic.
I bid $425 for this duck.
What? Like real money?
Real human dollars. For the chance, if we won, to win like $5,000 and then plus probably maybe even like up to $7,000 or something like that.
Jesus, what kind of money you guys laundering out there?
Dude, if there's one thing that we love doing here in Western Queensland, it's a punt. And there was people punting like crazy. The pool for like, I don't know how many ducks it was, maybe 30 ducks. It was $10,000. And that didn't include the individual prize money you'd get for being the racer that won. So we were the duck owner and we were the duck racer. So me and Danny, we're working for the ABC. We did the ABC team. We named our duck.
To Danny, avid listener.
She loves the show, honestly. Can't get enough of it. So we love having the female representation on the show, of course. But we named our duck Lee Sales. Sales, ladies and gentlemen. Sales.
Wait. Just Sales or Lee Sales?
You don't know who Lee Sales is, do you?
No.
Yeah,
Didn't
okay.
sound that exciting either.
Probably no one did. She's probably one of the great journalists in Australia at the moment, works for the ABC, but I'm not going to get too dug deep on that.
Wow, you named your duck after an
We were
ABC
We were the
presenter.
ABC duck.
Well,
Duck. But we should have called.
let
We
me
should have
guess.
called
You
ourselves.
finished the same place that the ABC finishes on the ratings, right down the bottom, next to the SBS duck.
It does. Oh my god, dude. We did, but that's not fair, dude. That's not fair. Let's just get off this, man. That was a personal attack. Wow, you're coming in hot today, dude. You're taking down my whole career here, man. And it wasn't next to the SBS duck. It was right next to the Vice duck. The Vice duck, which is absolutely trash these days. Anyway, let's move on.
E35 cooking shows they have on there.
Ready, steady,
SBS
cook.
Radio.
Ready, steady, cook is right behind us, dude. Anyway, enough said. But I've been racing ducks. You've been dodging earthquakes. Pretty exciting weeks for both of us, I would say.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad at all, actually. I think, we're certainly on point. I think your spending on those ducks, though, is a bit of a worry.
It is.
I think that kind of brings us into today's road guide to budgets.
Yes, I could definitely use a hand, Dos. And of course, the road guide, we're giving you really handy first-hand experience advice based from our own experiences, whether good or bad. Hopefully you can listen to what we've been up to and come to your own decision. Use our advice so you can not make the mistakes we've made, and possibly even follow in the footsteps of some of the great calls we've made. Dos, we're talking budgets today, as you said. Tell me a little bit about your budgeting styles. I'm not super fussed on it, to be honest. I don't imagine you're a great budgeter, considering all the coffee you drink.
Well, hold up.
Coffee and avocado, mate. Come on, you millennials with the coffee and avocado. Don't come at me with about being good with budgets, mate.
You can actually get coffee down here that's in an avocado. I'm not even kidding. There's cafes that serve you a latte in an avocado.
Useless idea, dude.
Yeah, what's your point?
Well, I guess my point is I hope that the next few steps you've got for us aren't as useless. When it comes to budgeting for me, I love a money episode, Dos. You got to come to know that. We've got plenty of money topics we have to talk about here, but this is a chance for me to flex that I'm not like you millennials. I'm a little bit different.
Yeah, hold up.
I'm built
Just
a little
separating
different.
yourself.
I hear all these people talking about avocados and coffees. I can't relate. Honestly, I can't relate. I think you guys are just wasting your money. I'm with the boomers that are just like, millennials will never buy a house because all they care about is bloody useless stuff. I totally agree. All the way to the bank for 2 different houses, ladies and gentlemen. 2 different houses.
Yeah.
Dual homeowner.
One for me, one for you. Perfect. In the podcast divorce, I'll be getting one.
Yeah, Dos, how would you feel about living in Longreach, though? I don't know you'd cut it.
Oh, I'd sell it.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, hold up. I lived in the freaking country before you did, Mr. I've been in the country for 2 years now, I'm a cowboy.
Yeah, that's, ladies and gentlemen, his first response was, I would sell it and leave. So clearly that's how much he loved his time in the country. But let's move on. Dos, let's jump into budgets, because I do think that there's a bit of game we can spit for people here, because Dos, you've been on some huge travels, huge trips for months, really. Self-sufficient, more or less. Let's not get into it too much. And me, I've joined you on some of those. I've done my fair share of traveling, but also I'm at that time in my life where I'm settling down, looking to start thinking about retirement and possibly retiring early. It's all about the budget. All comes down to staying in the black, or in our case, in the green. Which brings me to step 1 of the road guide to budgeting. It's simple as this. You've got to track everything. There's apps out there that will track everything, and they will sync with your bank account app, your CommBank, your Bank of Queensland, whatever banks they have south of Queensland. I'm not too sure. I can honestly only think of CommBank and Bank of Queensland at the moment. And it'll basically tell you, you spent X amount on this, X amount on that. X.
Sorry, he's still going. Oh, you lost me there.
My point is, it's amazing what you can do when you know where your money is going. And if you just take one moment after this podcast, you think, oh, wow, 5-star rating this podcast, move on for the rest of my day. Before you get on with that, that's fair. Take a look at where your money's going. I bet you've got subscriptions for like the old Netflixes, or, you've got Disney Channel subscriptions you don't need. That's hundreds of dollars per year. Wake up to yourself, track your stuff, know where your money's going, make some money. Step 1, track everything.
make sure you budget in there, a few dollars to Patreon. Shout out to the Road Guide on Patreon.
I'm not trying to say like don't subscribe to stuff, because you should subscribe to any sort of venture that we've got that can potentially earn us money. We want you to just be more calculated about other things for other people. Definitely send us your money.
You got to know what you're going to do with the rest of your money.
Yeah,
this is your main money that you send into us, because shit, we earn it. Like, we basically do this for free. Like, we change your life for free. That is goddamn amazing.
We're pretty angelic, dude. Pretty philanthropic with our behaviors here.
Yeah. And I feel like, in a way, it kind of rolls into step 2, which is prepare for the unexpected. So, you can budget all you want. This. Yeah, well, I give you a chance, because I feel like you're not really prepared for the unexpected either. And in that regard, it's more... those nights out where you just go with the boys, you go to the pub for a palmy, and then next minute, you wake up 2 days later and you're out $600.
Yeah, you've lost me.
So it's hard to budget for that. So you can't budget for it. So you got to be prepared for it. Have a bit of an emergency stash somewhere, sell your car if you have to, just make sure you don't say no to those weeks, because those weeks are the ones that kind of motivate you. They oh no, people are going to bully me about this. Integrate? No, integrate. I can't say it.
Dude, let's go. Reinvigorate, I do believe is the word you're looking
reinvigorate.
For. And that definitely correlates with some of your previous errors.
Oh no, we're only 10 minutes in, and now I'm going to stuff up again. Oh shit!
On fine form, dude. We're up to step 2 only as well, dude. Plenty to come.
Right. Moving on to step 3. Pipe down.
I love an emergency fund, dude. Big fan of it. I would be on the opposite though. I'd be saying choose your nights out, because you don't know when your car breaks down, or you're like me and you don't even have a car. Saves you a lot of money. Definitely, if you can do it. But my step 3, it comes to going out, actually. So when you do choose those nights to go out, like Dos said,
anymore?
I can remember. All right, I've got a pretty good memory of some good nights out, vaguely, kind of.
Back in the day,
you need to be a bit smarter about how you take part in rounds. Now, everyone knows that a round it's a pretty good thing to get a part of. Everyone sort of pulls in together. It's very, communist. It's very, socialist kind of. Everyone supports each other, picks each other up.
Shout out to communism.
Shout out to communists. They love us, actually, especially budgeting and like managing your wealth. They're definitely big fans of that.
Well, they've got a system that manages it for everyone.
Exactly. It's kind of hands-free. It's automatic. But rounds will sting you, quite frankly. Especially if you're the person that gets one of the first 1 to 4 rounds, let's say. I would say even 1 to 3 rounds, because I feel after 3 rounds, people can sort of disappear from the group, or the group can change, or the group splits, and suddenly the round order has changed. My advice for you, don't be too eager on these rounds, but come in maybe on the 5th or the 6th once you've got real good bang for buck, or even better, smoke bomb. Choose when you're going to be in that group. Don't buy rounds. Rounds cost hundreds. Seriously, they can cost like $100 for a round. I don't know, depending on what you're buying. Depending on how many friends you've got, Dos, I know you've got locked down, so maybe 1 or 2 friends, maybe not 100, but out here we go out with like 20 people. So in Queensland, by by the way, ladies and gentlemen.
That was a necessary shot. Oh, shit. Yeah, swear to God.
Shout out Queenslanders, the big fans of the show.
Should be another $1. Every time you mention Queensland, you get a fucking $1 for the rounds that you keep missing by the sounds of things.
All right. $1 every time I say Queensland, $1 you pioneer a new word into the English language. We're
going to be rich.
We're going to be rich. We don't need Patreon, dude. We're going to be banking money for sure. But definitely, I would highly recommend that. I think rounds can sting you. And I think people don't really care about people that don't buy rounds. They talk a big game, but they won't really hold you to it. So don't buy rounds.
We don't say it to your face. We'll say it behind you.
Yeah,
we're talking about group chats last week. Well, there is a group chat called the No Rounds Pros, and it's growing. It's a big group nowadays.
And see, these days though, Dos, not to labour on this, but I am actually the initiator of rounds, because I've found that sometimes people, when they go out to eat with me or to drink non-alcoholic beverages, I'm like, oh yeah, I'll get you a round, just so that I don't look like the alcoholic that deep down I am starting to think I am. So if everyone's drinking, I'm fine with that. I'm happy to get stung in the bank account for a little bit if it means that, my social credit stays high.
Yeah. I agree with the latter. I don't agree with everything else part of that step, but I think the last bit where, like sometimes you got to set the pace, if you
Yeah.
get there and
Yeah.
everybody's kind of chilling, you got to be like, all right, let's just get around. And that
Yeah.
automatically sets a tone for the night.
Yeah.
And depending on how big that group very much sums up. Like if there's 3 people, there's still a chance it could be a quiet night. But if
Yeah.
there's 6 people and someone's like, let's get around, it's going to be a big night. Because that's at
people
least
sort of locked in.
six beers, and then you're pretty well set then, especially if you're on jugs, and then it's bloody game on.
6 jagerbombs for you from my memory.
Oh, yeah. And that's when it's like just me in around by myself. Dangerous game, that one. I won't recommend that one.
And that's not good for the budget for sure.
Yeah, that one definitely is not good for the budget. But yeah, I think, and then step 4, you want to break even. So this one is probably, I'll give you an example. So when you like go on a date, obviously being the guy, you kind of, you buy the first round.
Yeah.
You
Hashtag
buy the
gender
first
roles.
date. Yeah, we'll abide by them today. We'll save the controversial gender topics for later. But yeah, but I guess on that, you kind of like when you're like, all right, you've been on 3 dates, so you're bought 2, she's bought 1, and you're over it. You're ready to move on. The spark's gone. You've missed the chance.
Jeez,
but you have to go on it, even if you don't want to go on it. You have to go on it because it's their turn to pay, which means that it's a free meal basically. So you want to make sure you maximize that because you've invested in that, and you need to get a little bit back on your investment. You want to break even. That's where you go. I will admit, I think earlier this year I had back-to-back 3 daters. Oof. And then all of a sudden you sit back and you think about that, that's like $80 basically that you're out of pocket. Because you didn't break even. If I'd have broken even, that's 2 extra free meals, could be a couple of beers in that. Maybe it's a movie ticket, maybe it's mini golf, maybe it's a game of Twister, even though it's free, but I hear that's all the rage in lockdown.
Dos, what's the most sort of expensive 4th date that you've gone on to try and maximize how much you can break even or possibly profit from one of these encounters with a lovely person in Victoria?
$80. I think that would be it.
Yeah, I feel like that's a bit more realistic, a bit more everyday.
Yeah, I think it was. Actually, no. Actually, shit, we split that. I remember. Oh my god, that was one of the most embarrassing dates of my life. Oh, that was like, it went well. It was going great, but I was like super poor. First year of uni. I had to fix my car that I just bought. I had no dollars to my name, and I went on this date, and it came to $85. And this is the most expensive date of my life at this point.
Whoa.
And I was like, they were like, oh, do you want to split it? Do you want to split it or pay it? And I was like, I don't have enough money in my account. Yeah, I was like, I don't have enough money in my account. I was like, I don't even know what to do. She's like, oh, I'll pay for the drinks. And I was like, all right, I have enough if you pay for the drinks. Oh, my God,
dude. And I'm presuming that relationship just ended there. That does not sound like a promising end.
Yeah, there was no second date after that. I actually think 3 years later, she bumped into me waking up at the beach once, and she was on a morning walk. With her boyfriend.
No, that wasn't the same person that woke you up at the park after sleeping with Elvis.
Yeah, when you left me.
Different story for a different
so here's
time.
the story. No. We're hearing it now. People
okay,
need to hear this.
Step 5,
so this
save
is the
money on
angel. accommodation.
Step 5, save money on accommodation. I'm a big proponent of this. Tell us the first date experience, Dus.
So, a lovely, angel-like hostess of the show, Daniel Prosser. We went out, had a great night together, and as we're going back to his place to where I was crashing, on the way there, I don't know what happened, but I just remember waking up and next to an Elvis Presley statue in a bush, and Pross nowhere to be seen. It's daylight. And then this girl that I went on a date with 2 years before that.
That's amazing.
Was on a morning walk with her boyfriend, and she's like, "Hey, are you alright?" And she was like, "Oh my god, your name's Hayden." And I was like, "How the fuck do you know my name? What's happening? Where am I?"
She just thought to herself,
Pross,
that first date where I made the calculated and cold call to cut ties with this bloke because he couldn't afford dinner, and here he is, sleeping tough on the road in the middle of a park next to Elvis. She was like, I am a genius. I've got good taste. I could pick him from a mile away, dude.
You know how people always want to know who wins or loses a breakup? I think this is the one time I am happy to admit defeat. I think she won that round. I will admit.
And in my defense, Dos was not making it back to my dad's place where we were staying. And, you know, don't make it sound too romantic. I wasn't trying to take him home, because if I was trying to take him home, I wouldn't have just sacrificed him.
You would have got me home.
Exactly. He was not ending up in the bush. But there you go. Step 5, I think we can call it a wrap there. We can both agree. It sounds like you had a positive experience rekindling a friendship with someone from many years ago. Save money on accommodation. That thing can sting you. Airbnb, Uber, sleep in a hedge next to Elvis. Totally
That's
for it.
It's all comfortable. When you're that drunk, you don't feel anything anyway. And I don't feel anything anymore anyway.
Oh, and that's why you should be listening to the Road Guide, folks. You can end up the models of happiness and success that we are here today, dude. Oh my
We're here to
goodness.
promote the success of our lives.
Now, Dos, I'm really excited for this mystery guest. I've only met her once, I'm pretty sure, and she left a huge impact. She was absolute firecracker. Definitely brought life to a already full of life party, and I'm sure she's got some really cutting edge observations and a really stunning story to share with us today.
Yeah, I'm super keen to get her on so that she stops messaging me and begging to get on the podcast. So I'm glad to give myself a bit of freedom, a bit of space, and I'd certainly like to welcome our friend Em.
Yeah, pestering you. Thank you.
which we love and encourage.
We do. And we've got so many fans and listeners that definitely pester us to get our attention. That comes with the territory of being successful podcasters. But it's always great to have someone that we love and cherish as much as Em on the show. But Em, for people listening, they may not be as familiar with you, because, you know, international listeners, definitely Victorians would know you, but the international ones may not be as familiar. So can you introduce yourself to us?
I'm surprised you're sticking with this question. It hasn't been going all that well for you.
Another person wants to take us on, Dos. Let's go.
Yeah. You want to be hostile? We can go hostile. You know, I'm happy.
I'm 24. I'm a teacher.
This
I'm
isn't
5
your
foot,
Tinder profile. This isn't your Tinder profile.
If anyone knows how tall Hayden is, 5 foot, so next to Hayden, very small. And I met Hayden a couple years ago playing footy at uni games.
I only met you last year. Well, technically, was it 2 years ago? Last year. Anyway, last year, New Year's Eve party. You definitely made a huge impact on that party. You were the life of it for a time.
Great time.
Before that light was extinguished. Before it was thoroughly extinguished. But it was definitely great to meet you. We had a great time, and we've kept up on Strava since. Definitely don't be afraid to get in my Strava DMs if you're listening. I'm a big fan of anyone I know that's out there Stravaing, but Em's definitely out there.
Yeah, he'll always give you the kudos.
No. I'm not having fucking cross-marketing his Strava on freaking this podcast. I'm not having it. No.
You know, it's my go-to. It's my go-to.
I have been to parties where Pross will go up to girls, and instead of asking for their number, he'll ask for their Strava. It's just, oh, man.
I think that is the first social media we connected on.
Yeah, I honestly, because I think one of the parties that Dos remembers is the very party where I was definitely pulling that trick out. But we could go on for days. Oh, sorry, how did you meet? You met Dos playing footy?
At uni games, so through Deakin.
Was it a mixed team?
No, they had their girls team.
There was
a boys team. I think I was having a crack at Em, and then she wasn't having a bar at me either. I was like,
ooh.
Fair enough.
I'm not going to lie, I can't really rember him from that uni game. I didn't really know who he was.
Not very memorable, is he?
That hurts even more.
Yeah.
Good now.
That's the whole motivation for this.
Me twice. Oh man.
All right. So
Em
has come in hostile, perhaps successfully more hostile than our two most previous hostile guests, which would be Darcy and Nelson just before. Definitely trying to have a chop.
Yeah.
So you better make sure you can back it up. Yeah, you should definitely back it up, Em. What's your story for us today, and what can we sort of provide our own perspective on?
All right, so a few years ago, just after I'd finished school, me and a friend went off travelling for about 8 months. So we'd been in America for about 3-4 months, and then we had about another 4 months to go over in Europe, and we had just flown into Toronto in Canada. And a couple days before this, we'd kind of sat down and we hadn't really been too much thinking about money and things like that. So we sat down and had a look at our budget.
Are you telling me you're another one in the 1%?
Oh yeah, it's another 1% and not having to worry about money.
I swear to God.
I wish.
I'm gonna start banning 1%ers from this show.
No, so we sat down and had a look at our budget and realised that we had less than $50 a day left until the end of our trip, including accommodation, food, travel, all that. So we were on quite the budget, but we really wanted to get over to see Niagara Falls. So we kind of looked it up, and it was about an hour drive from where we were staying, and there was buses that could take you there and everything, but they were a bit out of our price range. Yes, so,
I imagine.
We were kind of looking around, talking to people in the hostel, trying to figure out a way we could get there. And then we'd heard about this Chinese casino bus that apparently could take us to the casino, which was right next to the falls.
I'm seeing some red flags early. I'm seeing some red flags.
Mate, if we'd seen the Chinese casino bus, don't lie to me, we would have taken it for sure. Yeah, we'd be on it.
Oh, for sure.
Nah, we were pumped. We thought, oh, this is great. Cheap way to get there. So good. We'll have a bit of fun on this casino bus. Should be good. So we got up in the morning, all excited, headed down to where the bus was supposedly leaving from. Waited there. The bus turns up. There's this big group of Chinese people all ready to go bet in the casino. And we tried to get on the bus, but the legal age to get into a casino in Canada was 19. And so I was 19, but the friend I was with was 18.
Oh, no.
So then this head of the bus wouldn't let us on. And then we were trying to beg her just to let us, because we just wanted to get to Niagara Falls. Yeah. We didn't really want to go to the casino. But anyway, she wouldn't let us on. And so this Chinese lady who was kind of running the casino thing told us about this other way to get there, which was like a bus, a train, and then another bus.
Oh.
And we thought, all right, we'll give it a go.
Hour away?
Yeah.
Why did you take 3 different modes of transport?
We had no money. Anyway, so she points us in the direction of this bus, so we're like, all right, let's do it. So we jumped on this random bus, all going all right. We turn up at this train station, jump off the bus, walk over to the station, and we just see a train pulling off as we arrive. And we're like, oh no, that's a bit annoying. Kind of went in, had a look, and we realised the next train wasn't for another hour. So we're like, oh, great. We'll just hang around, wait for the train. It'll be right. So we waited for the train. It finally came. We're really excited, jumped on the train, and for some reason, it was a train that went about 1 kilometre an hour. So we actually could have walked faster. We probably could have walked there in the time that this train took. It was going so slow. So we endure this long train where we've probably been travelling for about 3 hours at this point. Still not at the falls.
Wow.
That doesn't even make sense.
You must have headed in the opposite direction for a bit.
Yeah, maybe. So we finally reached our destination on this train, and then we still had another bus to get. So we jumped on this other bus, and it's kind of taking stops along the way. People are getting off, and we're like, all right, there's getting less and less people on this bus. And then we're pulling up to kind of towards the end, which we didn't realise. And the bus driver yells to us. We're pretty much the last 2 people left on the bus. The bus driver yells to us and lets us know that this is going to be the last stop. And we kind of look around, and we're just in the middle of nowhere. There is absolutely nothing to be seen. No water, no people. So the bus driver pulls off and pretty much tells us to get off. And we're standing just kind of in the middle of the bush. And we'd figure out it's actually a town called Niagara.
Oh my
and it's not actually Niagara Falls. So at this point, what would you guys do?
Well, Dos, can I kick this one off? I feel like you come in a bit stronger with some hotter takes after I come through with my suggestion. Firstly, I would have definitely left your friend for a bit, gone on the casino bus, and made some money. I reckon you totally missed the market there. A few rounds of blackjack, you would have made enough money to possibly get to Niagara Falls in a more legitimate way. But aside from that, you're trapped in this, you're sort of in this end-of-the-line location, not quite at Niagara. I would honestly just be grateful that you got to see some countryside, because quite frankly, the fact that you've got $50 left $50 left. That's probably not going to be enough for accommodation, all that kind of stuff. You guys got so greedy trying to go to Niagara Falls. I would say, I'm like, all right, this is just a bit of karma. What's Niagara Town like? Is it a nice little place?
There was nothing there. We couldn't even find a shop.
Oh gosh,
God.
what?
There was just a little sign that said Niagara Town.
In Canada?
Oh, good. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, unless we were just in the wrong spot, but we didn't find a shop.
I feel like I'm going to go with like the civil response. Being Canada, being the people of the nicer kind, I would have hitchhiked from the get-go.
True.
Put that thumb out and
That is a good option.
Find my way to
And you
the falls.
guys are you girls as well. They get picked up pretty easily.
Yeah, we could have also been kidnapped.
Yeah, that's a side effect.
I was still unable to pick up M, so I don't know if she would have got picked up. But I don't think I would have left the casino bus in the first place. I think I would have stayed on that. Was there like tables and shit on the bus? Or is it just an in-between casino bus?
No, it was in between casino. It's like it took this group of Chinese people to the casino and back, I think.
Okay.
I don't really know what was going on.
No, honestly.
All we knew was it was getting us to Niagara Falls.
Honestly, at the end of the day, and it does sound like a bit of a cop-out, but I would have been like, as soon as I rocked up in Niagara, I'd have been like, oh, this is a story. This is something that I'm going to be able to tell people about how catastrophically. I mean, Doss and I have Rainbow Mountain. This is basically Doss and I's Rainbow Mountain, which is another long story. But I would have chalked up to an experience for sure.
So,
well, I mean, I've got this story to tell now, so...
So what did you do? You're there without any money. What goes on?
Yeah, so we have a bit of a wander around, see if we can find anyone. And we found one kind of random stranger and asked him if the falls were anywhere near, and he pretty much said no.
It's called Niagara.
But he pointed us in the direction, and so... I mean, if anyone knows me at all, they know that I just think we can walk everywhere. So I said to my friend, nah, we can walk there. It's fine. So we just started walking in the direction and probably took us about 2.5, 3 hours from the bus stop that we had gotten to actually make it there on foot to Niagara Falls. But we did make it.
Nice.
About 6 hours after we'd left in the morning, we did make it there.
Good.
That's awesome.
So all worth it in the end.
Shout out to the old Foot Falcon, never failing.
Huge fan of the Falcon.
Right.
I mean, I'm sorry, but can we just contrast? M, I don't know how many kilometers that was, but here M is, the guest of the show, saying that she was like, stuff it, let's just walk to Niagara Falls from pretty much the middle of nowhere. And in the previous episode, we had Nelson saying that him and his mates were stranded in the wilderness two whopping kilometers away from their mantra penthouse hotel. I'm sorry, dude. Unbelievable. The different experiences people have had and the different way they approach things. It's astonishing.
Yeah. This is why I like. Maybe it is good that we have the 1% on every now and again, and we get those kind of drama because obviously being battlers, we don't experience that kind of life.
Well,
exactly right.
That is awesome, and it's great that you had not only a great experience finally getting to Niagara Falls, but you also did it potentially on a budget. Did that break the budget at the end of the day, even with all of the mucking around with buses and trains?
It did not. We even had some spare money to pay to go behind the falls and do the little extra experience. So
there you go. Bravo.
Yeah, exactly.
How'd you get
budgeting at its finest.
How'd you get back to where you're staying?
I actually don't remember. I have no idea.
She's blind. She's drunk. She spent all her money on alcohol. I see the flaw in this
so
story.
over it by that point.
Well,
we probably paid to get the normal bus, to be honest.
It's been an absolute pleasure and an honour. Thank you so much for jumping on episode 5, which I've got to say has been definitely one of the great episodes. Definitely top 5 episodes, but I'd say we might even be leaning towards a much higher rank for this episode.
I think top 1.
I would go top 4, Em. Let's not jump the hoses. I think this is a bit ahead of the airplane engine episode that we did last week. So I think this is a start.
Yeah, that's fair. Throw me under the bus. Don't throw anyone else under the bus. That's fair. I can take it. I'm a battler. Thanks so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me. See ya.
Thanks for coming on, Em. That was a interesting story involving the old Foot Falcon, which we do.
Love a Foot Falcon. Just earlier in the episode, mate, I was saying I don't have a car. I Foot Falcon everywhere. So the fact that she had the presence of mind to go, hey, let's stuff it, walking's free. Let's just freaking
What-
walk it. And she
what would
did.
Prost
That's
do?
awesome.
What would the road guide do? And she got a V8 Foot Falcon on.
I like to think that, we were, preemptively in her brain. She questioned what would the road guide do, and she heard the Foot Falcon come to mind, and a bit of a premonition of what we would actually suggest possibly doing. So that's awesome. Hats off to Em.
Exactly. Hats off. All right, and I just want you to hear me out on this. All right?
Oh, here we go.
So, natural selection.
Dos, I want to.
Darwin's-
Okay, what?
Darwin's theory of evolution.
Oh no, dude! This is a far cry from my. If you buy it, pay for it. You can eat as much as you want. Now we're going into the really deep scientific values here. All right, what's happening with natural
and you're not
selection?
even embracing the theme of this, man. I said, hear me out. Don't butt in.
Sorry. You're right. Someone said to hear you out. You got to hear them out because there's definitely, they don't want you to interrupt.
Some wisdom to come. So, yes, Darwin's theory of evolution. I'm a big believer on this. Big believer that this is how, we evolve and society and evolution is kind of fabricated. And I think part of that doesn't involve lactose intolerant people.
Oh, this is highly controversial, Das. I love it. Normally, I'll hear you out. Keep going.
I just feel like that's natural selection, isn't it? If you've just got stung with a really shitty allergy. I say this because a couple of my really good mates, actually one's allergic to milk to the extent of, they'd have to go to hospital if they had like a glass of milk. And I have another one that is allergic to egg, and his throat swells up if he eats anything with egg in it.
Oh
and
my
I obviously
God.
been out to dinner with these people all the time, and they
they inconvenience you, don't they, mate?
Oh, I'm like, come on, guys, come on. Like, you're 20, 26, 27
Grow up.
now. You've had it.
Grow up.
Yeah, you either got to grow up, grow through it, or as my dad would say, just toughen up.
Oh my God. Yeah, so you've mentioned that they have potentially fatal side effects, but yeah, you're really killing the buzz of my dinner here, friends. That's insane,
Can you
Dos.
stop choking? Like, come on, swell your throat up somewhere else.
Keep down. Yeah.
Keep it down. I'm eating fish and chips here, bro.
So, Dos, what's your course of action for people with lactose intolerance? Are you saying they should be rounded up? Like, I don't want to get too war crimesy here, but I'm just trying to figure out what's your point here. What should happen to these people, dude? I don't want to put words in your mouth. I'm trying to hear you out.
No, you're trying to.
Dos, it sounds pretty bad. That's where everyone's mind is going. I want you. Come on, we don't want to go down this road of this podcast. Surely you've got something reasonable here.
Live your life, Just live your life. Eat whatever you want, and don't tell me where your EpiPen is. Like, come on, man. Don't make me. I don't want to go against Darwin's theory, man.
Well, look, this is a very easy one for me to take an opposition stance to. That's just not on, Dos. We are so pro our milk and lactose. In fact, I know for a fact that one of our biggest promoters listening right now to the program, she is lactose intolerant. She has got her whole office listening to the Road Guide. She's going to hear this, Dos, and she's going to think, wow, they don't care about my people at all. And I just want to let people know, whether you can or can't drink milk, you're fine with me. I'm going to be honest, Dos. I'm going to go on the record here. Milk can make me feel pretty funny sometimes. It does. Actually, I can't really say that because I pretty much exclusively drink chocolate milkshakes. So yeah, I'm not trying to appropriate lactose intolerance or anything here. But
well, actually, shit. Maybe I'm a hypocrite. I fucking had an almond latte today. I didn't even have milk.
I'm telling you, mate. And did you feel a little bit better afterwards? I got to admit, when I've had almond milk or whatever non-delicious full cream milk variant of milk, I've got to admit I find myself not on the toilet as much. Let's just say that.
Actually, this is well off topic and unplanned, but one thing about Melbourne that I've noticed, like anywhere else in the world, Australia, and you're like, oh, hey mate, can you grab me a coffee while you're down at the shop? The first thing they ask is like, oh yeah, how many sugars? And obviously you say one or none, and I'm a none. And but in Melbourne, like no one will ever ask if you have sugar. Like the question will be, oh, it's like, hey man, can you get me coffee? It's like, yeah, no worries. And I said, what kind of milk would you like?
That's
Like-
amazing, actually, dude.
Yeah, and
I'm,
then obviously
I'm
there's
surprised.
every kind of fucking nut has a milk, which makes no sense to me. Because isn't that like the one food that is like the driest? Like, I don't understand how they make milk out of it, but I don't ask questions. You know, I just consume it and I live my life.
Dos, I think that's a really enlightening actual perspective for all of my fellow Outback listeners and for my fellow Queensland listeners. Shout out Queenslanders again. Sorry, 2 shouts in one episode. That's taking the piss a little bit. Let's move on. I should probably cut that one out so that our Victorian friends and family, or just our non-Queensland listeners, can actually start with this
we have a
podcast.
lot of listeners in Europe and the US. Just shout out to the foreigners of the world.
Big time. But let's leave it on that note, that little nugget of wisdom. And maybe there's a road guide to nuts coming up. I feel like we're both, we've got a few thoughts on nuts. Maybe there's a road guide to nuts. But if you're listening at the moment, if you've made it this far, amazing. If you could go
Firstly,
on.
Thank you so much. You are part of the 1%.
You are. Yeah, the other 1%.
Yeah, the other 1%.
And that's a 1% that we cherish. And if you are listening at this point, hashtag 1% in the comments section of our Insta post. You can go on our Insta page, DM us, tell us your stories. Hey, I don't know if Instagram can do this, but even if you were to record a 1 minute, or if you were to record a scenario, just like what Em's done, what Nels has done, what, Darcy, etc. have done on previous episodes. Curly, I should give a shout out as well. And Juzzy. Now I've shouted them, so no one complains. If they're listening, they'll complain.
No, we want them to complain. We're happy with the complaints.
If you want to find a way, send us a story, just like what Em's done in this episode, with a scenario, a climaxing point, a critical moment halfway through that you can put it to us. What would you do in this situation? Hey, we'll give it a run on the program. We'd love to have your questions, your thoughts on the podcast. We love hearing from all of our friends and non-friends. Well, you're all friends if you're listeners. Let's just say that. And we love hearing your thoughts as well. So definitely get in touch with us. Dos does a great job with his team of meme minions pumping out stuff on the Instagram. And we have a bit of fun.
Send in that Queensland hate. I do love a good hating on Queensland meme. That is my favourite type, I will admit.
Queenslanders rally up. We cannot have our Instagram be completely pioneered and commandeered by these southern scum. Let's just say that.
And if anybody has any recommendations on how to close the show, please send them in, because I've literally forgot how we do it again. And I've listened to the other episodes and we fucking butcher this every time, and I've already forgot what our go-to is.
Great point. If you do have a suggestion, send it to us. But Dos, how about on the count of 3, we say Road Guide. 1, 2, 3. Come on, Road Guide.
And you're listening to the Road Guide. Oh my God, please tell me no one listens to this.